balance. Two sides. In other words, thesis and antithesis. Okay? So the next one is your content. Rigor, which is DDEE. Definitions, diagrams, explanations, examples. Okay? The third one is context, which is question-specific stuff. Okay? Question-specific stuff could be things like, oh, what is the nature, what is the state of the economy? You can try to write some things along this direction. Then for demand and supply, usually, oh, what is the PED, what's the PS? In firms, oh, what's the type of market structure? Okay. So if you see on social media, there's a center that's collaborating with me, then we're doing a webinar, okay, on level 3 criteria. So this is really just to share these mark schemes and work backwards from there. Okay. Whereas when you talk about evaluation, you have E1 that always tries to rebut R1. Yes? Unless you really cannot find a way to rebut R1, in rare occasions, your E1 supports your R1, embellishes your R1, plays out your R1 and say, very good. Okay? Rare. Usually, it's to rebut. E2 rebuts R2. What's the last one? E3, yeah. Yeah. Summative, yes, good. Summative. Summative evaluation. Okay, some people say, hey, some parts overlap with E1, E2. Okay, so how do you write your summative? You need your stand. Okay, you need your context. And if really possible, we try to challenge. So SCC. The stand is where you pick one of two sides. The balance is two sides. The stand, you choose one side. You see, the use of English terms are usually very interesting. Stand means you, as a verb, it means you cannot sit on the fence. You have to choose one side. Some people like to say, overall, it's a mixture of pros and cons. We need a combination of policies. That's sitting on the fence. Or if a question asks, extent to which A affects B, and you say, overall, certain extent. Hey, come on, man. Certain extent is not saying much. You either say large or small extent. So no sitting on the fence, you pick one out of two sides. Context means you say, hey, the stand depends. Okay, we try to carve the stand out into two parts. For macroecons, anyone remembers this? How to write your context? NSGRTE. Never stop getting ready to evaluate. Okay? So we can say, hey, depends on nature of the economy, depends on state, depends on the government's role. If they ask you for the impact of the trade war in Singapore, you could say it depends on whether Singapore adopts counteracting measures. That can be part of your evaluation. Depends on the root cause of the problem. If I ask you, is exchange rate policy the most powerful one? Then you say, oh, it depends on what was the root cause of the problem we are trying to deal with. Okay? T is your favorite since year one. What is T? Time lag, right? Time period. Long run, short run. Yeah, you all have done this since your DDSS days, right? E means any other evidence from the question, which means like a broad catch-all. Okay? If the preamble says, oh, the trade war started with 125% tax rate, then you should use that and say, is a very big number. The impact will be very big. Okay? Challenge is normally for micro topics. For macro, NSGRTE will be enough to get you your 5 marks for evaluation. Okay? Some of it will be E1, E2. Then you don't state again in your summative. But for DDSS, when you are asked for impact of event on the economy, do you remember how we usually end off the essay? We'll revise this in June, okay? It's a Latin phrase, that we normally invoke. Ceteris paribus. Do you remember saying, hey, set par may not hold. The above analysis is only true if set par holds. Then you give an example. If something else is happening, then how will your answer change? Okay? In firms, we can also challenge. After you finish the whole essay, you can say, hey, the above is true, assuming the firm is not profit-driven. You can consider alternative objectives. Alternative firm objectives. If the firm is not profit-driven, it won't produce my MC cards and everything gets thrown out of the window. Alternative firm objectives. Okay? All these are very fundamental challenges. What about market failure? Okay? In market failure, we tend to challenge by saying, okay, the government may fail. Government failure can occur. Because part B is usually when you suggest,